Welcome back to Important Library Stuff, a podcast where library staff share the inside scoop on all the stuff that happens at Prince William Public Libraries. And trust us, it's a lot of stuff. I'm your host, Emily Bickers, media specialist from the Office of Communications and Marketing, and I am joined each episode by fellow staff members who know a lot more on each episode's topic than I do, which for this episode is our summer reading program. So without further ado, let's learn together from returning guests, Kristen Burnham, the Office of Programming and Events Coordinator.
Hey guys!
And Greer Helms, Lake Ridge Library's branch manager.
Hello, everyone.
This year's theme is Adventure Begins at Your Library. Can you share your 3 favorite adventure books?
So my 3 favorite adventure books are The Count of Monte Cristo, which I read in high school and then in college, and it's just one of the few classics that I would enjoy returning to again and again. There's also one that I read recently that's a newer book called The Mostly True Story of Tanner and Louise. It's by Colleen Oakley, and it follows a 21-year-old college dropout and an 83-year-old retiree as they make a cross-country road trip, and it's packed with hijinks and mystery and crime and all sorts of things you wouldn't expect from the characters. And then the third is a series, the Finley Donovan series, and the fourth one was just released in March. And for people who love audiobooks, I think this is one of the best narrators that I've listened to. She really brings all the different people to life, and the author keeps people guessing. It's got comedy, it's got, again, crime and mystery, but then also just a variety of people in a variety of situations, so never dull.
I chose, and I'm going to mispronounce this because I never know how to pronounce it, Hilo or Hilo, which is this amazing graphic novel series by Judd Winnick, and it's about a boy that falls from outer space. The Map to Everywhere, which is I think it's a quartet by Carrie Ryan and John Park Davis. And it's just this fun, rollicking sea adventure, but the sea is actually this mythical stream that takes you between worlds. And the 2 main characters is a boy that everyone forgets as soon as they're no longer looking at him, and his new best friend, the girl who is the only one that actually remembers who he is. And then, and this one's an oldie, Dear Daddy Longlegs by Gene Weber. This technically isn't an adventure book, but it is about a young woman who embarks on the greatest adventure of going to college in the early 1900s. It was written in the early 1900s, and the humor actually still is relevant to this day. So I'm like, this is brilliant.
That sounds great. So how is the program set up this year?
So we are doing something a little different this year in our efforts to make the program a little bit more accessible. So each participant from birth to 109 has a reading goal of 500 minutes. So this could be achieved from June 10th through August 11th. So you just pick out your favorite book, whatever medium. You could be listening to it, reading it online, whatever. Log your minutes on Beanstack or ask our staff, like Greer, to log it for you, and you'll be awarded a free book of your own while supplies last.
And everyone gets that free book, all ages?
Yes, adults included for the first time this year. So, Emily, expectations are high on you right now. I'm just saying.
As an adult, I'm very excited about this.
Good.
As adults, so were we. We were really happy to bring this forward. I think that's something that we've wanted for years.
Yes.
And then Kristen and her team worked hard to secure the funding with other departments and make sure that it could happen.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
So 500 minutes sounds like a lot, but actually it's only 20 minutes a day for 25 days, which spread over a whole summer is not that much.
Right.
What are some tips you have for squeezing in reading 20 minutes or more every day?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of different ways to do it for me. And what I've talked to with families and people who come into our library a lot is to just figure out what time of day is best for you as a reader. For some people, they like to start their day with reading. And for other people, it's how they wind down at the end of the day. I have an amazing team of staff, and most, if not all of them, will be found on their lunch breaks outside in their car in the break room reading on their breaks. And so for some people, that midday kind of mental break from whatever you're doing, maybe it's work, maybe it's errands, maybe it's cleaning or cooking or whatever it is. I think it's just about finding the time of day when you can do that. Remembering, too, that you can just do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Some of it might be holding a book or an e-reader or listening, as Kristen said earlier, to an audiobook. whether that's in the car or while you're just walking around exercising. There's just so many different ways to squeeze it in, whether it's all at once or just little pockets of time here and there. My niece and I were chatting about this recently, and she actually said, I just think you have to remember that when life's getting hard, throw it in there as a break. And she's 15, and she's so smart about this. She said for her, when she's been doing a lot of homework, or maybe she's been doing something like working for crew or prepping for finals, for her, slipping away and doing reading for just a few minutes is sort of a nice way to wake yourself back up and make the day more fun.
That's great advice. Yeah.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, so beyond just saying ditto to what Greer said, it can be anything. So a magazine, articles, short story, novels, reading to your children, to the children in your life, reading for yourself, whatever that is. Personally, I am one of those people. I like to read first thing in the morning. It helps me kind of center myself as I gulp down my scalding hot tea and just kind of prepare for the day.
How do you encourage reluctant readers to join the summer reading adventure this year?
I think a lot of it is playing into their passion for whatever they like to read. And that's something that we push all year long, not just during summer reading, that reading is reading. So there should be no pressure on any reader of any age to have to pick up a certain reading level or a certain genre. If graphic novels are their thing, if magazines are their thing, if audiobooks are their thing, it's about getting them into the library and finding the topic or the genre or the style of writing and reading that appeals to them the most. And so getting them in for events and programs that we offer all summer long hopefully gets them signed up and hopefully exposes them to maybe even some new types of books that they haven't seen before that might just be their new favorite type.
Yeah, I will admit that I hated assigned reading in school. Even if I liked the book, I just hated the concept of, well, I have to read this book, because it was usually books that didn't interest me. So what is so great about our program is that it can literally be anything. It's open to all ages, all reading format types. We just want to encourage our community to really delve into the worlds and adventures that await them in the fantastic resources that our staff works so hard to provide. Like Greer's team is phenomenal at creating these interactive displays that are tied in with the collection. And I'm jotting down that series, the Finley Donovan.
Finley Donovan,
I want to read that now. This is really good. Thank you. And we offer, like, if you're looking for a new read suggestion, of course, our staff are happy to help out. But there's also resources like Novelist, where you can generate your own reading list. Lots of ways to get resources and assistance.
So I know that every finisher gets a new book from babies through adults. Are there additional prizes for younger readers, or is there a grand prize that will be raffled?
Yes and yes. So as we speak, we have sent out over 6,000 stress balls to the various branches. Greer's swimming in some of them.
So many boxes.
Harder for the small branches.
So many
Storage
boxes.
is fun.
That will be a registration prize for everyone up to rising 12th graders, as well as everyone receives a Friend of the Library book sale voucher, so they can pick out their own free book at the start of the summer reading program if they decide to. And then, as you said, everyone gets a free book at the end of the program, and then everyone who completes the 500 minutes logged will be entered into a grand prize drawing, and that is one winner per age group per library.
Awesome. So how fun is it to hand out the prizes?
Oh, it's the best. And I think it doesn't matter the age of the recipient. I mean, the joy on their faces, and from the registration prizes to the finisher prizes to the grand prizes, we just have the best time. So the thing is, you get some people who come in expecting it. They've read about it. They've heard about it on podcasts or whatnot. But then the moments where you get someone who didn't even know, especially the adults who just think that things like this are targeted towards kids. And we get to say, okay, come on over and here's your coupon. What do you mean I get something? Or at the end this year, being able to tell them that they get the finisher prize. And we have an amazing selection of books. We always do for the kids, but this year to see just the array of genres and authors and titles. When we were kind of picking them out for our branch and getting them in storage, my team were sort of drooling over the variety of things that were going to be available. So I think that's one of the best parts for staff or our volunteers. I mean, you see the volunteers really connecting with the kids, handing out stickers, handing out prizes, and it just makes everybody really happy.
So speaking of adventure beginning at the library, are there any events or programs related to summer reading that we should be on the lookout for?
All of them. I don't know, Greer, do any of them jump out to you?
Well, the first thing I'll say is I know that there are a handful of libraries already who are putting together, now that we're in June, book displays that have pulled in a lot of different books that relate to the theme itself. So if you're not sure what your next read should be, pop on by and look at one of those. In terms of the events that you're going to go and hang out, we've got a lot of popular returning ones like Dino Man, who is always super exciting. We also have Master Gardeners, the Marine Corps Museum, things like that, that I think speak to different ways people incorporate adventure in their life. And then we have some new ones I know at my branch and that are popping up all over the county. The Singing Cowgirl, I think, is going to be a fun one. Aspen Black.
I'm so excited.
And then some new animals to touch and see and learn about, hands-on learning with Ferrets and Friends. So I think we've got a lot going on that plays into adventure, and because it means something different to everybody.
Yeah, only in a library does it make sense to receive an email asking, will there be tarantulas?
Oh, my.
On purpose.
On purpose. No, there will not. No. Yeah, I think that from my side of things, what we always try to do is have a fair mix of new vendors. That's what we call them, vendors or programmers, and returning people that the kids and adults just love, like Dino Man and Beowulf T. Wonder Bunny. Everyone loves their performances. And also cultural programs like Hawaii Ana that share, you talked about adventures in a different culture or through a different medium like dance. So it's just really gratifying to see the wide variety that our staff are hosting. And using tools that, like we have a mobile STEM lab that's going to be traveling around the county, and we'll have things from like Spheros to using the Cricut 3D printers. We're using our portable laser engraver. So lots of hands-on activities for adults as well.
Exciting.
And I also think it's sort of an adventure for our patrons to explore the different libraries around the county.
Yeah.
Because there is definitely overlap, so that if someone misses it because they're out of town and they want to take their kids somewhere else, they can. Or maybe they just loved a program so much they want to go and see it a second time and bring friends and neighbors. But it's that idea of, well, I'm a Chin Park patron or I'm a Bull Run patron. And then the next thing you know, there are all these other libraries as well. And so they touch in, and now they are more familiar with and maybe more willing in the rest of the year to kind of visit other locations when they're in that area of town. So I think it's fun to see them adventure through that and walk through new doors and see a new environment throughout the summer.
And they're all free. That's
Everywhere
a
you go.
conversation that I often have with new vendors. They'll ask, well, how are you going to charge the patrons? I say, well, we don't. The library takes on that cost because we want to make sure it is open and accessible to everyone.
So I wanted to go behind the scenes a bit and find out, when did the Office of Programming and Events start working on this summer's program?
June of last year.
All right, so as soon as the last year's program started.
Yeah, pretty much. I've started working on 2025.
Ooh, any spoilers?
The theme is dinosaurs, so guess who I'll be calling this week?
Hey, Dino
Man.
Hey, Dino Man! Because everyone will be calling Dino Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So how many people or departments end up pitching in to make it happen?
6 departments, 100 people. Because you have everyone from material services. They actually select the prize books. You have my department, obviously. You have your department that handles all of the marketing and promotion and print materials, tech. And then, of course, you have, the public service staff that actually have to. So that's well over 100. Closing in on 200.
I think it's pretty much everyone.
Yeah, basically it's the whole library system.
So how many people signed up and finished the program last year?
Okay, so signed up, we had, Greer, help me out, about 8,000 sign up. And we had, I can't remember the number. I just know we had about a 30% completion rate.
Okay.
We tried to do math at our last podcast, so you could do that math. So we're anticipating 10,000 registrations this year, and I'm hoping for a 35 to 40% completion rate.
I like it. And I think we can do that.
Oh, I definitely think we can do that.
If everyone listening to this just tells 100 of their closest friends to sign
Yeah.
up and finish.
I'm going to be telling my parents, who just realized now what I do for a job. I've been in this position for 5 years, and my mother just recently said, "Do you know the library has amazing programs?" I was like, "No."
You're like Chandler on Friends. What is Chandler's job?
Yes.
So what are 5 reasons someone of any age should sign up?
Oh my gosh, only 5. Okay. Well, if you're a tangible prize motivated individual, you have lots to choose from the stress balls, the coupons, the finisher books, and then the possibility of winning a grand prize, which is always exciting. That's one. I think it's an opportunity for everyone in the family to do the same thing, which is rare in the summertime. You have a lot of separation and everyone's going a different direction. So this is something everyone can come in together, sign up, and encourage each other throughout the summer. I think whether you are a student, a reluctant reader, a new reader, it's a way to build up those skills, or whether you're someone who's been a lifelong reader and you're just wanting to maintain that memory and concentration that you've had for decades. I think it's just good brain work, and it really is a way for people to capture different worlds and play into imagination, escape the screens in our life, unless you're an e-reader, which is also fantastic. And so I think it's fun for that. And then I think the great thing about the program and the way that the library has arranged it, this is something you can do anywhere. So even if you're traveling, even if you're bouncing around, and even if you have a job and you don't get the summer off to vacation per se, really it's a very flexible program and a good way to stay connected to the community. So,
Plus, we worked really, 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 really hard on it.
That's true. There were a lot of hands in the pot this year.
Blatant emotional blackmail.
You would personally make Kristen very happy if you signed up.
You made me so happy.
So I wanted to talk about our sponsors. Summer Reading is fully funded by corporate and community sponsorships and grants. Thank you to Prince William County and the City of Manassas community. Without your support, we could not continue to offer the quality level of programming that our patrons have come to love. A special thank you to the program's naming sponsor, Amazon Web Services in Communities. And to loyalty sponsors, Burke & Herbert Bank, Joyce Coons Honda Buick GMC, Novik, Savant Wealth Management, United Bank, and Wegmans. Loyalty sponsors have supported Summer Reading for 5 or more years. What's behind their commitment to this program? Here's an answer from one of them. At United Bank, our commitment to community is at the heart of who we are. With a history spanning more than 180 years, we're not just bankers, we're your neighbors. For the complete list of Summer Reading sponsors, there's a lot, visit the program's webpage on pwcva.gov/library. So how do sponsors contribute to the program? Where would we be without them?
We wouldn't have books, particularly for adults. I want to personally thank all of our sponsors, and your department, your colleague Michaela, has been excellent at fostering these relationships to the point where this year in particular, the budget was healthy enough for us to not only rebuild our prize book collection, but also purchase titles for adults and bestsellers. Like we have the latest Abby Jimenez book, which was just released. We had her book included in that batch. So these aren't old titles that we will be providing. And just the security to be able to know that we have the funds that we need to explore ways to reach out to our community more and to bring them services and prizes that will, we hope, make a real impact. Whether, a child realizes the importance of a book now or maybe later, but that we were able to be that connection between our sponsors and the community. It's a huge honor, and I, for one, am very, very appreciative.
Absolutely.
I know, as a kid, you get used to coming into the library, and every time you come, you get new to you free books, but you have to return them. But
yeah.
so exciting during summer reading to get a book that you get to keep and
You could get sand in it. You go to the
right,
street.
yeah.
You don't get the look from staff. Like, you went to the beach, didn't you?
Hear the sand shaking inside. What I like too, though, is that we're doing a free book on both ends of the experience. So sometimes life gets in the way and they don't finish. As Kristen was saying, it's not 100% of our participants who complete every year. And so if they think, well, I won't get that free book, well, you do automatically just by registering and signing up. And then to know that you can choose from our Friends of the Library book sales, which are available even at the smallest of branches up to through the biggest of branches. There's something there that either you or a loved one could very much enjoy reading as you work towards those 500 minutes.
Yeah, some folks may not know, like we have our big Friends of the Library book sale events that kind of take over the community rooms, but also in like every branch, there's at least like a shelf of like
Exactly.
an ongoing book sale.
Yes.
I've
And we
found some
refresh
good
that.
stuff there.
We do. Yeah, we refresh that regularly with donations from the community as well as items that have lived their life with the library and now they're going on to be sold and live forever in the hands and homes of our patrons.
Can you share any fun or memorable moments from past summer reading programs, maybe even ones you had as a kid?
I don't know that we had a summer reading program in my tiny little town in South Carolina when I was
Poor child.
in the 80s. I still went. I was when it was within bicycling distance, and so I would ride over. And I remember being quite young for it, but discovering the language learning sets. I think they were on cassette and CD at the time, so a little different than today. And
Just a bit.
Yeah, but the librarians, even though we didn't have something like what I see now, they were so encouraging and they were so engaging and supportive. I mean, at 8 years old, how well was I going to master Italian on my own? Probably not easily. But they never doubted me. They just said, yeah, take it home. Can you fit that in your book bag? Like, let's see how it goes. Come back next week and tell us how it's going. So I think for me, it's really special to now work in this field and see opportunities like this for people of all ages and to know what it means to our community who come back year after year for it.
So when we first moved here, I didn't know what summer reading was. I know that we have it in Canada, but I was too young to really appreciate it. And we just kind of stumbled upon it in the Central Library. That was my library growing up. And I was like, wait, there's a loophole here somewhere. I was very skeptical. Oddly enough, I never attended any of the programs. None of the programs. I was a very independent library user. So I got my booklet of coupons and I zeroed in on the free ice cream because that was the main thing back then. So, I know, it's preach. But mostly my memories of summer were going once a week and deliberately picking books that weren't on my assigned reading list. Like Robinson Crusoe was on my assigned reading list for 5th grade, the unabridged version.
It's a good book, but
It's good, but not 5th grade. So I read books like The Borrowed House by Hilda Van Stockham and all of the Nancy Drew books.
Nancy
And
Drew.
I just have memories of that. And that one time I got the coupon booklet. I didn't even volunteer for oh my gosh, what kind of youth was I? I didn't even volunteer for it. Well, kids that are listening today, you must participate and volunteer if you can, because I'm sure I would have been a much better person if I had done it.
I'm always so impressed by our teen summer reading volunteers. Their like dedication and passion is a lot more than I've had at their age. So
They're fantastic. Some of them arrive in suits. I'm like, you're awesome.
they're taking this seriously.
They're taking it more seriously than I am at that particular moment. It's fantastic.
I mean, we always have more applicants than we do have spaces. And I think it speaks to how passionate they are and how much fun they have while they're here every year, that they want to come back and they tell everyone they know. And it's great.
Listening to them engage with the kids, because like one year there was a fluke in the software. And so they basically had to ask them questions like, tell us what's your favorite thing that you were reading. And they did an amazing job. I think I was a Bull Run at the time. And they weren't reading from a script. They weren't saying, tell me what your favorite. No, tell me what your favorite book is. And asking questions and really engaging with them. So very, very impressive.
Okay, so I have one very important question. How do I sign up?
Oh, there are so many ways. If you are into that tech option, there is the Beanstack app you can download if you haven't already and create an account, sign up anyone else in your household. But if you, and I just had someone come in the other day and say, do you guys have an option that doesn't involve tech? And we said, absolutely. We are happy to do it on your behalf. So just visit your local branch and talk to staff. They will get you signed up. Either they will or a volunteer will. And even as you make progress and want to come back in and keep your account up to date as you work your way towards 500 minutes, you can do it on your own from home, or you can go in and have staff and volunteers help you.
And the reason why we do try so hard to get everyone recorded into Beanstack, and if you already have a Beanstack account, the program will just pop up on your feed on June 10th. But we do want everyone to be in there because that enables you to be eligible for the grand prize drawing. We're not sharing the information. It's not going anywhere. But Beanstack is kind of that pot that we're pulling from at the end of the summer. And it also helps us keep track of stats, which have to be recorded to the state at, I think by November. And that also helps us secure funding for next summer reading.
Do you guys have any parting thoughts or tips?
I just think stay connected, whether it's with your usual branch or it's someplace new that you haven't gone before. I think this is such a fun time. We just love it. We live for it, to see the excitement of everybody coming in, the kids who have these stacks of books that they can barely carry themselves as they head over to checkout. I don't know. I just can't say enough. The whole thing is get in there and talk to your staff and your volunteers. You'll see how happy we are to have you, and maybe make some new connections with other people in the community along the way.
What agrees to have fun. I mean, for parents that are looking for something to do with their kids, everything that we offer is free. And where else are you going to get a free magic show that's of quality, like Beowulf T. Wonder Bunny, that somehow he uses a confetti cannon and a rabbit in one show and no one gets hurt, except for the ceiling, maybe. Confetti gets embedded. Or, so many people, like I said earlier, the Cricut. Oh, well, I'm interested in using the Cricut, but I don't necessarily want to invest in one. Well, that's fine. We have 2 maker spaces that have amazing DIY programs, or come to one of our traveling ones. Our staff are really committed to developing programming that is both fun and educational. And that is whether you're a baby attending baby baby with your parent attending baby story time, or an adult attending a lecture at Relic, learning how to do your own genealogy, or learning embroidery for the first time at a makerspace. So just have fun and be open to explore what the library offers, because as my mother said, you guys have some really great programs.
Really great programs.
I think that just summarizes it so perfectly.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like what you mentioned before. Adventure is different for everyone, but we have an adventure for everyone.
Yeah.
That starts at the library. So
I do think a good tip that I observed in my first year working for the library years ago is to try to plan ahead if you can and arrive early.
That's a good
There are
one.
a lot of events that fill up quickly, where maybe tokens are handed out, or even if tokens aren't and they don't anticipate, wow, there's going to be 100-something people crowding into this space. So just show up early, grab some books, sit down, get in line, whatever you want to do. But if there's an event that's really important to you, try to make that a part of your schedule so you don't miss it.
Yeah, because staff do have to abide by fire code rules. Sometimes the vendors have preferences as well.
And some programs are also, you need to register prior to showing up. So make sure you look on our website, and if it has that green register button, it means that you need to register for it.
Right.
So for more information on summer reading and to sign up starting June 10th, visit pwcva.gov/library. I will close us out with a quote from the book referenced in the episode title, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. And what is the use of a book, thought Alice, without pictures or conversation? Thanks for listening, and join us next month for the next episode of Important Library Stuff.